20 years from now.
I'm curious to see what Parker does on land. He's a long-term NASA pub notorious player.
Yes, pub notorious player for sure, because
that's a polite way of saying
he does not have like a ton of professional experience. He has been around the scene for like 2 or 3 years. He's been kind of on the up. I would say his performance, I think, was it last year? Yeah, I think it was last year on Infamous. They came pretty close to actually being able to qualify. They actually only lost out against the old Beast Coast in a tiebreaker to be able to go to their first major.
I mean, the way I'll put it, because I feel like a lot of people are not familiar with Parker. His original name was Parker Stupid, and that is how a lot of people know him. That's not me giving him that name. Oh, that's his name. I think a lot of people talk about standings like, oh, we were looking at Tundra earlier today. Oh, they just go on the leaderboard. They look at the top 10. You know what Parker's rank is right now? 3. He was between 2 and 3 right now.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how he got there, but he's pretty damn good. I played with him a couple of times. He's in form. The 2 heroes you need to watch out for in this guy, Templar Assassin and Monkey King. That's all he plays. Okay. Unfortunately, he did not get those. So we'll see how he performs on a Medusa. It's up there for him as well. I don't know. You know, people talk about ranks. I think Parker's got to have a close to a record for like the number of games griefed or something. That's got to be.
Yeah, a record breaker here at DreamLeague. Oh, wow, that's great.
No, I'm just messing. I mean, he is notorious. He's notorious. Well, I'll leave it at that. This is a pretty interesting draft. We got Seb back in action as well. I mean, is he even is this guy even retired? I don't even know what's happening. Like, didn't even announce he was unretired. Was he still retired?
Yeah, and then now he's back. Yeah, he was retired. He never announced that he was unretired. He just came back.
I mean, sure. Whatever. This guy just plays like 100 pubs every week anyway.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think... See, the thing is that, like, I think when you're done with Dota, you have to find something else. And I just don't think Seb ever found that other thing.
Well, he found Dota, too. And Sacred will get hit with the last spear, but he will survive. He has a salve down here. Early lane trade's going out. This is a double carry lineup from OG. Fear said they had better early game and late game. I don't know if that's 100% true, but their late game is pretty terrifying. Shaker locking down that illusion pick. I think they still should have gone for the Phantom Lancer here, but I don't know if Parker actually plays Phantom Lancer. It was Hector 100%, but yeah, working with a different carry hero pool, which is a huge difference for this team because Beast Coast has always been a team that plays around their carry picks going into that late game, right? Like that's their MO. The Chaos works because the Chaos has Hector to back it up. Well, what happens when you remove that linchpin from this lineup? Can they still function? Is that Chaos leading towards anything? Is this Medusa winning the late game here? I don't think it is. I don't even think it's close.
Well, it was good enough for them to be able to get through the SADPC. Obviously, that is maybe perhaps a different criteria of teams there, but they also, I personally thought Hector was going to come back in their final series in order to make it to qualify for the major. They had to play up against EG, and I really thought otherwise you end up at a tiebreaker. And I really thought Hector was going to come back, but they played it out with Parker. They beat EG. They secured their spot without having to do a tiebreaker against Thunder Awakened. So if it's good enough to beat EG, maybe it's good enough to beat OG.
Yeah, they've definitely been playing for a decent while and have had some good results with him. So they definitely understand how to work together. It's just in this draft, I have my doubts.
Sure.
I don't see Medusa winning this late game. So to me, they're kind of on this timing push, which Medusa also functions very well in. You hit that second item, Butterfly, you hit that third item, Scotty, or some stat item with the Empower on top, you might just be able to force the early high ground before all the farm that OG needs comes online. But it's also a question of how well do these lanes go. And Morphling is just... he's pretty much free farming mid, and when Morphling free farms mid, it is terrifying.
Oh, gets the first blood before... Well, looks like Yuragi isn't even going to come close to dying. Stinger rotated over and everything.
Yep.
But he was still pretty damn healthy on the Terrorblade, healthy enough to keep farming.
This is a 2v3 you're getting first blood in.
Not great.
Pretty nice start for OG on these lanes. They do not necessarily need this game to be super fast-paced, right? They can slow it down, just get the farm in their cores, build that inevitability. You get to Morphling Ags. I feel like this game kind of just implodes because you just steal Dusa. That's your one hero you're playing around. Where is the scaling damage from Beast Coast if Dusa gets all of Ragi and stat stolen? I guess carry Mars in the ultra late with like refreshers and multiple arenas. I tend to underestimate it, but I feel like it's not usually good enough to win you games anymore.
Yeah, you were talking about you weren't sure if you believe in this lineup with maybe Parker on the do sense. I don't believe in it because of the Mars, personally. I haven't seen that hero really do that well. The Skewer, can it finish him off? Not quite. Sacred needs to get the hit in, and while he does manage to do so, it took so long that Yuragi's going to get the double.
That's what I'm talking about.
The Blade of Terrors showing up early. 3 kills for Yuragi on top of basically a free farm lane. Both of OG's carries out in front, and I mean, Seb hasn't even had to do anything.
DM actually going to go for this one here. Got enough sticky napalm charges on him that he felt like it's go time. Stinger trying to interrupt, but nice Fisher blocking. Seb going to force Parker to go the long way around. Does lose most of his mana for it. Still had some magic wand charges, so he'll be able to pop that. Still get off a Mystic Snake and recover all of his mana. That's a problem with going on Dusa, right? If she has enough mana to Mystic Snake, then, well, it's like Bloodseeker, you know?
I almost think beastcoast could have just fought that.
Yeah.
It's so much extra mana. Like, you had multiple mangoes and the Lotus on Stinger. You still had that full wand. Parker is insanely tanky up here. He is the one member of Beast Coast having a very clean early game here. Just farming it up. Not a lot of pressure for OG, but again, they don't necessarily need a lot of early pressure. They're happy to continue farming all 3 of their cores. Let Seb make a couple rotations, poke some heroes. Dark Mago, he can die on this mid lane. Like, normally you want Mars to be the one with the aggression. Straight off the arena, you want to make something happen with it. This is not a mid hero I think you want to be idle with, especially in the early game. Morphling is just not a hero you can aggress on. He's going to look potentially bottom here. Doesn't have arena, but could still easily get the kill on Yuragi if he connects.
See if he can get him with the inks. Well, not able to get the stun fast enough, and the spear comes too late, so Schofield dies for it.
I mean, you know what that was? That was, I'm going to let you die so I get more XP off.
Got to get this solo experience for these kills, man.
You really do. I actually kind of like that play.
I mean, you definitely need it on a Mars that is rotating pre-level 6. Something's not going right here.
It's just the Morphling matchup. There's just nothing you can do in this matchup. You're getting out CS'd. You have no potential on him with the kill threat. So what are you doing here? They're going to bring in the help for the catapult wave.
Arena goes down, but Strength Morph already activated on the Morphling, so...
And he has regen. So all this is going to come back up. He is going that Phylactery Rush build, which I think is a pretty cool mid-Morphling build. Saw this a couple times. It just ramps up very fast. Like, you have both adaptives that can proc it. Basically always going to hit this Phylactery the second it comes off cooldown. And that is a lot of damage in these early fights. Especially on a hero that can't die. Like, yeah, basically just busted. So that'll also speed up the lineup for OG. Like, they're not playing this, you know, there's no Midas Morphling here or something. They understand that they're pretty confident going late game, and so they can just itemize for some tempo, shut down the early game skirmish potential. There's just not a lot of windows here for Beast Coast. They really need levels on their supports. They need them bad.
I could definitely see a world where this Phylactery Morphling becomes a lot more mainstream, because conceptually it feels kind of broken. If you enable Morphling pre-morph to be like significantly more powerful, then he just becomes 2 heroes, right? Because I feel like if you don't morph into something, then Morphling as this sort of like mid lane active hero, like he can win some lanes, but he's not necessarily the biggest factor in the world. But if his nukes actually start doing serious damage, then I feel like this hero starts going off the rails.
Yeah, it might honestly just be way more viable than it's being played. Like, if the mid-Morphling can be played like a spell caster early fighter, then isn't this hero just terrifying?
Yeah, you just jump into any fight, you throw a bunch of damage around, some useful hero shows up to the fight, enemy hero, you turn into that enemy hero. I mean, in this case, he's just going to be a better Mars for most of the game.
And your lane's just insane. That's the thing about mid-morph. The lane versus the spirits, for example, is insane. There's a lot of the melee heroes is just free. There's not a lot that punishes this hero on mid. It's just usually you can out-tempo it, but if Phylactery gives him the speed, then what opening is there? OG continuing to punish on the side lanes, getting a lot of XP for their supports. Taiga's just been everywhere and getting everything done. 3, 2, and 3. Max spirits with an extra point dive. There's a lot of damage coming out. And it's punishing Beast Coast hard on the map as their supports cannot fight back. They're just way too underleveled. Cannot get the kills on the lanes. Veno, Grimstroke are not doing much for you in these fights.
Yeah, I think we've been sitting here talking about, like, you know, just talking Dota, talking Chop, doing a lot of theory crafting and stuff. Well, we're just kind of like passively watching some Beast Coast supports die because they can't do anything else in this game other than just walk around and die. OG is completely dissecting Beast Coast bit by bit here in this laning phase, and as we move outside of it, they've got a 3,000 net worth lead. Are there any highlights here for Beast Coast that we can focus on?
Got some decent triangle stacks, and they got a haste rune. So maybe this haste can enable Dark Mago to go to work. You are going to accelerate the Medusa here. The lineup is built around the Medusa, right? It's just get Parker as fat as you can. Let him hit his timings as fast as possible, and then just barrel him into OG and like hope you win those fights. You're going to have the auras on Sacred Mag here. It's going to be a scary Medusa for a portion of this early game. I mean, these counters are there in the late game, but Zero can always hit her timings and just steamroll into you. But like you said, the deaths for the supports right now. I mean, you have 0-5 on Schofield. As Taiga continues to be super obnoxious here. He's just baiting out the egg, but I don't think he's going to prop it.
No. It's pushed to the low ground, but Parker's there. Jim Park is able to pick up the kill anyway. Venomancer is now going to be doing some jungling. I'm interested to see what Seb does with this build because obviously Seb, he popularized Earthshaker. The last time this hero was actually viable and good was because Seb brought it back, and that was at, what major was that again? Where he's playing stood in for OG, played the Earthshaker, you know, base 5 but kind of forward. He was rushing Shard.
I know Stockholm too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Wind Ranger, Shaker, Monkey. I mean, I don't know. This guy has like too many things he's brought to Dota, I guess.
Too much of an innovator. And too fearless of a competitor, apparently. Just can't quit it. Well, Taiga's going to be dying here for a second time as he continues to just try and play on Beast Coast side of the map constantly. Man, that damage.
It's actually crazy when you see it.
Ridiculous.
What do you do versus?
Oh, got him. Nice flame break there. Really well played by DM. Gets it in front of Sacred's skewering Magnus.
And the problem is when you have a mid hero like this that is untouchable and also exerting a decent amount of damage pressure, it just frees up so much space on the map. Yuragi's been able to sit bottom this entire game. He's level 10, 2-0-3, now pressuring your offlane tier 1 while this fight is happening. I don't think this is a kill though. This is Octarine finished on Batrider. He's very tanky.
I mean, this is pretty much a dream scenario for a support Grimstroke to get active, and it still may not be enough.
Oh, imagine you had Veno ult.
Oh man, yeah, they get the double ult, maybe the Batrider dies, but instead...
OG just getting everything they want.
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, this is like classic Seb OG, right? Like, look at where he is. He's just top farming.
Yeah.
This is what he does. He just gets items while you're distracted by everything else, and then their team fight becomes unstoppable. BZM is just literally going in with no fear. You're gone.
Yeah, fighting back against Morphling just always kind of sucks because he's got near infinite HP if you can't stop that strength morph. He's just running down underneath the tier 2. Sacred is set up here to try and get some sort of skewer scenario, but again, Morphling between waveform and strength morph, not much that Beast Coast can do about him.
Not enough sustained damage to take him down right now.
Yeah. No, and they also don't have like the surprise burst damage factor either, as they're going to have to use the RP, and doesn't actually save Stinger, nor is it going to be enough to kill DM, I think, because the Octarine Core plus the Magic Wand charges leave him pretty healthy. They're going to go for a second kill on a Dark Mago. This is just back-to-back. I mean, this skirmish started with Mago dying, and it'll end with Mago dying.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still that teal dot on the top of the minimap as he gets tipped here. DM's like, yeah, nice impact, Seb.
And well,
anytime you want to join, feel free. Seb's like, oh, I'm good. Been farming top for 10 years. He's literally almost as farmed as Mid-Mars now. Racking up the GPM.
Nice.
I mean, it's just good. So it's just solid Dota by OG. Hitting their core power spikes and combining them, taking the right fights in the right areas for, you know, space for the other heroes that are going to come online later. It's just good communication, and the blink is already done for Seb off of all this action. BCM 1v3 or 2v3, whatever you want to call it. This Morphling has been a problem from the lane. There is no answer for him. He has made Beast Coast pay as another quick
gotta
kill.
get popped. The blink in from Mago is not gonna be able to do anything here. In fact, he may still be in trouble. Another spear's coming up. Seb waiting for an opportunity to get that Fisher. May not have to use it. Blinks forward to help get the kill on Mago, who's died now 3 times in the space of 2 minutes.
They're just in their element. I don't know if this game is even a game anymore. It's Medusa versus the world.
Not really recoverable, perhaps.
Tough.
Okay, double snake. That is going to be some damage. Can they actually get in there, though? Oh, nice flame break into the egg and the Echo Slam to stop the initiation.
It's a lot of damage,
there. It is a lot of
damn.
damage. Jim Park, he's able to pick up a 3rd kill off of this one. OG, despite getting off the Supernova and trying to stop Beast Coast from getting in there, still fall.
That is just an overextension by OG. I mean, you're taking a team fight deep into a tier 2, into the Medusa who tanks the first run of this. You get a great double snake, double Veno ult as well. It's the dream. I mean, the Echo's okay, but there's no damage follow-up. And then Mech does serious work for Sacred. Yeah, I spoke too soon. There's still a lot of damage in the tank. They finally got the Veno ult online, get the connection, and another kill.
All right, Beast Coast
up.
striking back all of a sudden.
This is such classic Beast Coast, man.
Yeah.
Every time I think this team has lost the game, it's like the best series of events happen for them.
Oh, yeah. Like, the worse the game goes in the first 30 minutes, the better it goes in the last 30 minutes.
Why can't this team just normally win a game?
Not their style. I do like this combo that they have. Pretty interesting. The Venomancer Grimstroke for the double Noxious Plague, which basically kind of gives you 4 of those ultimates. Spear on spear, not quite good enough. But yeah, you get 2 Noxious Plagues out, and they're forced to stick next to each other, so then it takes out, and then it spreads. It does the non-communicable version of the Plague. So you get hit with the ultimate, and then you get hit with the second ultimate from the other guy, losing his Noxious Plague and passing it over to you.
It's a lot of Plague.
And then there's Adusa just throwing snakes around. Well, good to see OG in high spirits.
East Coast need to get to Deuce's timings, though.
How far away are we from those timings?
Wasn't in. He almost has his butterfly. Because you're going to continue to get picked off. Like, that 5-on-5 is tough because you're going to the tankiest hero in the game right now with all of East Coast behind him. You get a really good team fight, but the map play, this is where the OG lineup is really scary because you have this Fissure threat into Morphling damage, into Phoenix damage, into a Bat Rider chain. That just comes out of nowhere. It's fog-based, so you can't even really react. That is the terrifying part right now. With all that farm that Seb picked up, just prioritizing his itemization, he already has Blink and the ability to buy Shard if he wants to. Of course, Bot's Bat Rider. Happy to join any of these little kobolds on the map.
Soon gonna have a Blink Dagger, so his joining is gonna be a lot more impactful. And all the thing that's really missing for them is the right kind of initiation. Seb, cheeky, just body blocking the stack there.
Thank God I don't have to play against this guy anymore.
Yeah. Butterfly's complete. Is it time to go? Because everybody else on Beast Coast, their farm simply doesn't matter.
Nope, it is about Dusa. It is about the fight you can get around Parker right now. He's level 15. He's big. He's bad. He is the baddest hero in the game. But you need lockdown. You need control around him. There it is. Easy pick off with that Blink reveal for Sacred. This is one of the mechanisms Beast Coast can use, the displacement. You displace OG's heroes out of that ball or out of that formation. Their heroes are honestly not that good at reacting to it, right? Like, you can throw a Fissure out, but outside of that interrupt, you kind of have to just go and commit in with the hero, and then there's Stone Gaze there. There's Arena. There's Veno and Grimstroke waiting for you to clump.
Right.
So the skewer displacement is very strong for Beast Coast in this game. Like, every time that happens, they're super happy to grab anybody and just take the fight based off of OG having to clump into them.
And their high damage supports are beautifully positioned whenever you get that kind of skewer back, right? They don't want to be gone on. They want to be just sitting back, letting the fight walk into them.
They want to get all their spells out. You Inkswell someone in and then let that hero get dragged into you. Especially if you can get the Grimstroke Ags. I mean, Schofield's had a rough game. He's 0-8, but he is finding some farm. He's just going to rush that Dark Portrait. That's a powerful portrait in this game, and that's a powerful kill.
Oh! They got it there with a double damage Dark Mago. Great pickoff.
Finding some momentum. They know the Deuce is untouchable right now. This is your window to win this game right now if you're Beast Coast. The next 10 minutes here, super important. How much damage can you get done with the Medusa that is... It's just not fightable right now if you're OG, with all the team fight behind him.
Man, I really thought they were just going to straight up do Roshan, but I guess Roshan is moving to the other side of the map, so they're going to smoke, they're going to go through the portal, and they're going to try and catch somebody on the way.
I don't think OG are ready for how fast this move was.
Maybe Taiga, he got a little bit of a inkling there with the Fire Spirits, almost gets caught, but no. Skewer doesn't quite latch.
You're going to go into Roche here, though, for sure, if you're Beast Coast.
Yeah. They're going to try and drag him up to the high ground. Manta goes off instead and activates the Stone Gaze. So actually OG, they didn't commit anything. So a little bit of a slip there from Jim Park, a.k.a. Parker.
Yeah, he was out a little too far. He almost got hella punished. But the problem is now I don't think you can commit to Roche without RP and without Stone Gaze. That is a very tough fight. OG, they're going to force something here because they know the ults are on cooldown. It's going to be the call. They scan misses on the pit. It's just a matter of can you find the pickoff with the Blink Batrider here. Don't have any vision mechanisms outside of Terrorblade Illusion's going to send those in first. And if you're Beast Coast, this is not a fight you can lose. You need this Roshan in this game. You need to get Medusa to Aegis Scotty here. Stone Gaze up in 40, RP in 20.
Creeping up, taking more and more territory away from Beast Coast and finding a hero on top of that. They're going to go for the initiation, though. The arena goes out. All the heroes are inside of it. Can Jim Park do enough here? He's fighting through the Terrorblade. They've already killed the Supernova. He's already used his Thunder as well, so all the second lives of OG have been burned through. Nice play by Beast Coast. Not only that initiation, but I respect the fact that they kind of reset there. They say, you know what? He used meta. We're going to reset, wait for our heroes, smoke back up, and now they're going to strike again.
Oh, this is a really good play. They have Stone Gaze back up in 7.
Seb, he spotted Sacred. Oh, he gets the RP onto 3. The Inkswell on top of that, too. Echo Slam to try and deny it, but the damage is already being done. Jim Park, he do manage to get a spear onto him with the Morphling, morphing into that Mars to get it back. PZM trying to soak up some of that damage with a Bulwark, I guess. They're actually going to fight this dude.
Yeah,
Can they deal with them, though? Got him with the spear, but the Snake actually bounced back, giving him more mana. Gonna try and back away now, but OG, I think they know if they back out entirely, Roshan is gonna be done by Beast Coast.
Yeah, you gotta be thinking about Roshan right here. What you can collect on the way out, it will be Schofield. As the Batrider respawns, comes back into the fight. That was a Taiga dieback. That RP was absolutely sick, but the follow-up not quite there. That Inkswell, half a second off, it allows Echo Slam to disable the chain stun. Oh, imagine if Parker's there, right? This tree line is just a hard tree line to fight through, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward one. You get a great Snake, but...
What, like 3 hits in, and then he gets speared?
Not enough. If you can get the Shaker in that fight, maybe you're able to commit here. Still, the standoff continues. Neither team able to commit for Roshan, despite all the ults dropped.
I mean, either way, even if they don't get Roshan, it is better for OG if we just enter into this stalemate where nobody's getting it, right? The game's just getting delayed out.
100%, because right now, Dusa she's hitting her prime. She just finished the Scotty here. This is when this hero is going to be strongest in this game. I mean, she's going to be strong for a while, but this is like the relative power point, right? It's when you want to be getting this first and second Roshan, because that Morphling Ags is coming. The Terrorblade Scotty and his extra tank ability is coming. He always has guaranteed Thunder. You're probably going to have to fight him twice unless you can burst him. There's a lot of EHP to fight through. And once you remove the Agi and attacks from Dusa, the damage just disappears from Beast Coast unless you can get the Schofield Dark Portraits up. The Dark Portraits are a big wild card in this game. I don't really know what happens in those fights if you can land good links with like a Morphling Portrait and a Terrorblade Portrait.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely terrifying here. You're going to destroy the OG supports in the fight. And of course, you land a couple of big RPs like that. Oh, this Beast Coast lineup is kind of scarier than I thought.
Commit the Echo Slam there. I'm not sure if they know exactly where Beast Coast is on the map. They know now. Roshan being taken. Obviously, they just weren't... Like, no reason to be around the Roshan pit to try and contest if you don't think you can actually take the fight, right? You can't take the fight without meta.
They stalled it out. They don't have meta, and I mean, you just really want Morphling Axe at this point. Medusa has her third item. Your Morphling's still working on his. It's just no reason to take that fight. Your high ground defense is also still pretty decent for OG, right? Let's say this Medusa walks high ground. Like, you can fissure block her, you can lasso drag her in super deep. Now all of a sudden Beast Coast have to commit into an egg defended by the base fight from OG. Yeah. It's not that easy for Beast Coast to force the issue here.
They scooted right on by each other. Taiga gets the other side of the portal, hides, and TPs away.
Little bird will live to see another day.
All right. 4 minutes of an Aegis working towards a Lincoln, so kind of identifying what you're talking about. The high ground defense is pretty formidable, and one of the biggest ways that you could lose that as a Medusa is getting dragged up way out of position.
And Lincoln, this is a good Lincoln scheme. I mean,
Yeah, you're stopping Sunder or Lasso.
Or Morphle.
Or the Morph stuff.
So he's going to have to adapt to strike you. That's really it. There's nothing else to break in this game. Downside of Phoenix Shaker, you have 0 targetable spells. Kind of like this idea. Especially if you can stack them at some point. Like, let's say you get 2 or 3 Lincolns here for Beast Coast. You're not fighting through those if you're OG.
Sacred just fishing in the dark, somehow managed to hit the Batrider. His Batrider blinked into that one. He apparently thought it was going to be fine, and maybe it is. Because of the BKB, he's able to get out of there. But similarly, he wasn't able to get a kill either.
Wait, did he lassoed the mag and then still got skewered while he lassoed the mag?
Yeah, I don't know if he was able to activate the lasso before the skewer hits him.
Yeah, wouldn't this break one of the... Dota's a wacky game, man. Does anybody understand how it works?
Kind of like magnets. Nobody knows how Dota works.
I feel like we know how magnets work. Where do magnets come from, though? Where does Dota come from?
Ice Rock.
Where does Ice Rock come from?
Mars.
Magnets. It's a circle. This is the high ground push. This is dangerous. He's out of mana, too.
Yeah, they've already taken away his first life almost.
They're going to try and burst
what a fissure, but the initiation was there from Sacred pulling BZM out of the way, but he's a Morphling, so he just waveforms on back. So kind of awkward, especially since Beast Coast low on resources, and they're also defending against 3. Their side lanes are being hard pushed in right now. They're not getting enough. They need to be able to finish off these heroes in the mid. They go for the Morphling. It's not quite good enough. Now they have to go for the Phoenix. The Supernova goes off. They have to deal with that egg. They're going to burst it. But the Morphling still survives, and this gives the time for those delinquent heroes to come back.
Parker's out of mana, but he has that second life, so how much do you really want to commit on him here? Dark Portrait up, as well as Ags for Stinger. The Beast Coast supports have recovered immensely in this game, just off the Medusa pressure. Suddenly you have a lot more damage, a lot more ultis to throw in. Poison Nova, this thing, it reduces your resistance. It's going to amp all the other magic damage. It's a pretty disgusting spell in these team fights if you get it off, especially if you get multiple ones off. This is only a 10-second cooldown. It's almost always guaranteed you get at least 2 if you can land the Gale at the start of a fight, and then your death proc. This is a very good answer to Terrorblade. Like, you just pretty much kill Terrorblade's first life if you land everything on him with Veno. Then he has to Sunder to take the fight, and that's where, okay, you can Sunder Medusa, but Medusa doesn't care. Are you winning that fight in a single Terrorblade life? I think OG needs to start finding the jumps.
And I would say, like, normally against Venomancer, you, just buy a Satanic, right? Give you some sustained heal off against sustained damage, but buying lifesteal against Dusa, there's no incentive to do that. So you got a problem there. Initiation.
Damage?
Out on Dark Mago, certainly not. Seb is going to be the one to die here.
Yeah, that's a 2-hero pickoff that you just don't have enough damage to burst course. Need that Sunray or the Morphling to join you in these fights. As OG just hit a brick wall in this game. Could not punch through it. The Parker wall. I've been there.
We've all been there.
You're just playing for next Aegis right now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, while we wait for Roshan to respawn, Beast Coast might as well take some of those adder towers remaining. I guess it's only this tier 2. OG are going to fight it, though. Because they have this fresh Scotty on Terrorblade, they feel strong. And Yuragi is in a position to be able to get right on top of this Medusa at the very start of the fight. The BKB is going to be used. The RP does manage to grab both of the carries here, but they just want to reset off of it. He saw the egg, they popped Stone Gaze and ran away. DM wants to try and slow him down, see if he can get a little bit more, and he will be able to. That's going to be the Magnus dying Sacred Falls.
Stinger lucky to get out alive.
Yeah.
They just got the Morphling ult on the Medusa there. And I think the call after that is, this is just not a fight we can take. The egg's going to reset the engagement, and then we're just going to be down half our carry. That's the tough part. That Linken's gets broken. Ags goes to work, and then the engagement can get drawn out from OG because they know Beast Coast are missing so much damage. These Dark Portraits are nice, but they're not carrying the fight on their own. Beast Coast really need these fights set up in a way where the Medusa is able to commit to the front line. That's what Aegis gives you. In that type of situation, it's bold to just say, I'm going to run in there, tank the egg, and hope for the best.
Sure.
These eggs are also really pivotal for OG. They don't have a lot to protect them. It's only Shaker stuns.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Beast Coast have done a nice job focusing them down. You have Arena to help you commit. Let's say OG get caught on the wrong side of Arena here. That's another big deal. It's a lot of time Beast Coast can buy in these fights. You're going to have 2 of them at some point as well, as Dark Mako is going that refresher build. And again, you're playing for Roshan's here. You have zone control with the Venomancer. You can create the illusions off of these Mantas with that portrait. So there's a lot of zoning tools for Beast Coast to just commit and gain advantage around that Roche Pit. No reason to take a fight in an area that does not yield you your win condition. And if you're OG, you just need to gear up either for that fight or the high ground defense. You break that, and then you try and win this game after.
Yeah, my biggest concern for Beast Coast right now is the fact that they constantly have to play around this Medusa. The game is getting stalled out, and OG, whenever I look at them, they've got at least like 2 or 3 heroes that are separated out on the map,
They're
all very efficiently farming.
They are getting a lot, and it is going to show at some point.
Like, if this is a late Roshan, I almost actually feel like that decreases Beast Coast's chances of winning by like 10% or something. If the difference between an instant Roshan and a late one, it's so much more farming time for OG. They're going to go from 4K to like 8K.
When you have Scotty finished on Yuragi, so he's a lot tankier now.
Oh, I think this is... I
might even
think
take
you were
the fight.
dodging fights before, but a double damage, this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, BKB for BZM as well. So Morphling's just free when he goes in. These BKBs are huge for OG. They want to get locked down. They can just jump aggressively now. Aggressively blink lasso, follow up with the fissure chain stun from Seb. He does not have to commit with the blink in himself. That's enough time where your 2 BKB cores are going to take someone big out. Beast Coast need a good formation. They ideally want the Medusa and the Veno to take the brunt of the jump, especially if these supports have buyback. Neither of them do. Only the Mag has buyback here for Beast Coast. Double damage will wear out as Roshan is spawning soon, but it's not up yet.
It is going to be a pretty fast Roshan. But we saw last time, Roshan was up, but both the teams posturing and posing, sitting around that pit, kind of did just stall. Sacred. Oh, his smoke breaks.
That high ground ward.
They spot him. Yuragi gives him the vision. The follow-up there from Seth. They do throw out an arena, but didn't really connect. They got off their BKBs. Yuragi's going to chase after them, just trying to get away from the Supernova. Jim Park is actually going to turn here with the RP onto the 2 of them. Let's see if they can connect it with the Stone Gaze and finish him off. No, the stuns from the Earthshaker are stalling out the damage. Yuragi needs help, though. He doesn't have Thunder, and he does end up dying. The lasso doesn't come through in time. BCM's still strong, though, and he's going to be able to keep fighting this down. Another spear going to be used. They're trying to pummel through this. Medusa doesn't have any mana left and has no team left either. He'll get several kills before he falls, but he will fall.
Fight till the last breath, the last piece of mana. As always, he will claim some with him. An expensive victory for OG, but a victory nonetheless. goddamn, those fissures and chain stuns were on point, bailing OG out of these engagements.
Yeah, that fight was very close to being a lot more one-sided to Beast Coast. But as you said, I mean,
they killed the unkillable. I mean, they get the Dusa, but it doesn't feel great, right? You're losing your Terrorblade. Another sick RP by Sacred. Parker just giving him the vision with that Silver Edge. Newly completed, instantly being able to hit them. That's a very different scenario than some of these RPs we've seen before. I mean, Beast Coast are playing these fights well. They're not easy.
yeah.
That is a big streak to get off the Medusa as well.
Dead for 95 seconds.
Yeah, he's so high level.
That's crazy, because I was going to say, well, okay, what really sucks for OG is you're going to come back and probably just do Roshan right away for Beast Coast. And maybe they still can, but because there's probably going to be some window where meta is still down, but being dead for that long, the window is going to be cut down significantly, and it's alarm time for BZM.
Shift this Roshan back to Dire side at night. Pretty nice for Beast Coast. Remember, they were contesting this on the Radiant side. And they have, I would like to say, the better zone control with the Venom Wards, with the Dark Portrait Illusions. Every time you get hit by a Venom Ward, every time you get hit by a Dark Portrait Illusion, there's a fear you're going to get Blink Skewered or RP'd, right?
Yeah.
It's really difficult to fight through, or at least start the fight for OG. Once the fight starts, I think it's very clear for them, right? You're going to fight around the egg. You're going to try and get this Ags Morphling ult on the Medusa. You need to break the Lincolns. You're going to play around the Fissure stuns. By the way, Seb has Octarine, so these Fissures and the Chain stuns are coming out at a rapid pace right now. There's a lot to play around once the fight starts, but starting it for OG is not very clear. And that is where if Beast Coast gets set up around something like Dire Roche, it becomes very hard to contest. I would not be surprised to see OG just give it up here, as I think they are. And this is like a near uncontestable Roshan because of the vision advantage, and you're just never going to see Sacred until it's too late.
Yeah.
And then you get punished hard. So
You're also guaranteed fighting into buybacks around a Dire outpost, right? So
that is the obnoxious part.
they're going to play for base defense, or maybe they're going to play for a surprise initiation. They smoke out to Roshan Pit, but it's too late to be able to stop this. They spot Schofield, though. That is great pickoff to start the fight with. And now they spot Stinger as well. They can kill both the supports, but before the fight even starts, they do manage to get the RP, though. Batrider Terrorblade managed to take him down. Break through the Lincolns. Yuragi trying to stay away from the Deucer right now while the Stone Gaze is out. While Seb, being controlled up inside of this arena, gets off the Echo Slam last second. He will eventually die. A refresher goes out. Mago's got to use it now before he dies. He barely gets it off. They get the arena. That's going to be enough to be able to finish off that Terrorblade. But now, once again, it's Dusa versus the Morphling with the extra help going on the side of OG. He has got no allies left. A second life, though. He has that this time.
He's got himself, but that's it.
They just run away from the Dusa, track down Sacred, finish him off, and away they go. OG, they just take away the advantage that Beast Coast got for themselves off of that Roshan.
Oh, what a hell of a fight. There was a Dire Ward on that smoke break too, but DM is just instantly fast, gets that jump. You find the best targets here. The Dark Portrait's out, the Veno spell's out, get pretty much no value out of them. Seb lived through all of that way somehow, just walks it off. Man is unkillable. Another amazing RP by Sacred. He keeps finding multiple core RPs, but the follow-up is just not good enough. OG are killing everybody else, halberding Parker off cooldown. He's getting Fissure Stun, he's getting Chain Stun, then he gets halberd, then he gets his Agi stolen. It's just so hard to hit anybody here. When he does, he's slicing him. But BZM is slicing him back, man. This is MKB Morphling. Look at the damage, it's significant. This is the problem with the matchup. The Morphling is just scaling easily as well as you are here.
Yeah, when you just never die in a fight, you will eventually get so farmed that you can have this sort of transition from early to mid-game, you know, just team starter, and now late-game carry. Mago gonna go for the punish here on Seb. They have the Dark Portrait. Yeah.
That's a gem. That's a really big find from Beast Coast. Take the gem out. Also get this annoying Shaker off the field, man. He has been destroying them in the fights. Parker, invis on BZM. Give him a little hello.
Opens up on him, slows him down. This is not the worst thing in the world. They do have the supports coming in. BKB got to be activated alongside the Stone Gaze. This might be a little bit more than he hoped for. Jim Park. Parker wants to get out of here. He's going to cost Stinger his life.
Did get Seb's buyback, actually.
Maybe it ends up being worth just for that. I thought it was totally failed, but...
That's a huge buyback to get, honestly. If I'm picking one hero I want to start the fight out on, it's Seb. I want to take the Shaker out of the fight. He's their entirety of their control outside of Lasso. Yeah. And the control is super low cooldown with this Octarine build, so you eliminate that, suddenly you can kite these fights around yourselves if you're Beast Coast and maybe take the longer version with your Medusa. The Halberds have still been incredibly annoying here. I'm not really sure how you deal with that, because all of those Halberds are going on Parker. They're not going on anybody else.
Nobody else in this game that matters.
And OG are just building them. They have one on Taiga with the Phoenix, one on DM with the Batrider. 2 is good enough.
Got the upgraded to Diffusal Blade Disperser on the Terror Blade. Got that one probably just... Not sure so much if the active really helps him out, but it is nice slot efficiency anyway. Because you got to keep Diffusal Blade against Usa. Scotty next for BZM.
I mean, the Dispel's nice for Veno. You get Galed. You instantly Dispel it, you get some extra move speed.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess in a lot of fights, I feel like he's not really moving too much anyway. Like, they're playing around Supernova, right? And, like, they just want to hole up in an area and just, like, take that fight around that. I guess maybe sometimes he does have to, like, run away from Dusa when she pops Stone Gaze.
Honestly, I hate to say it, but I almost wouldn't have minded another Halberd for Yuragi.
Yeah, you get like, 5 of them. Why
like,
not?
I don't know if the damage is going to come from the long term with the Shaker and the Morphling, right? Your Morphling is the carrier. He has Ags, he has MKB. He's going to kill the Dusa. I feel like if you're Yuragi, you just need to survive as long as possible.
Yeah, but that would require a carry player to have some self-awareness and say, you know what, I'm not the carry.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, his itemization is not bad either because it creates another damage threat. So then you eliminate the potential of Beast Coast just going on the Morphling all in him, and then it's like super straightforward, right? Yeah. You have some like weird Halberd Terrorblade.
And that is a big problem for Beast Coast. They have no second damage threat, right?
Yep. I mean, it's supposed to be the Dark Portraits, but I don't know how much you can rely on Dark Portraits. If they can sit there and hit people, they're good. I mean, their damage threat is Arena and RP. Like, that's their damage threat. It's the big AoE, just clumping OG up. It's going to enable the Dark Portraits and Medusa to go to work. That's what they need to land here, because you can't land the control. The fight's going to get kited out. It's just going to be a nightmare for you. Seb even has a Shadow Blade of his own now. God damn, he is farmed. And he is obnoxious.
Yeah.
All these Shaker talents. Shaker is one of the most annoying heroes in these late game fights because you don't have the spell immunity. Not a lot of heroes build status resistance anymore. He's not playing for some crazy Echo Slam. He's playing to get like 3 or 4 fissures off.
Yeah, he's got the 20 talent, so not, like the Shadow Blade, he's invis, but also he's able to stay farther away and use these fissures effectively.
That was a big double damage to deny. Nice heads-up play.
Yeah, seriously. Aghanim Scepter done for the Dusa. So a little bit more control offered. Yeah. They're going to get the initiation from high ground to low ground on a Schofield. Again, a good hero
Parker
to be able to pick off the start of the fight. This time they do manage to get the Soulbind. The Soulbind connected to the Supernova is holding the Morphling in place. He finally dies, and that gives BCM a chance to be able to morph away and does TP out just barely. The BKB lasting aloft. And the RP not there in time.
And another buyback from the OG support. East Coast finding, I mean, Parker is destroying this game. Honestly, like, the Silver Edge has made huge issues in the fights for OG because he's just running in and he knows they don't want to go on him even if they see him. They lost their gem earlier, so they don't have the detection, right? Neither of the OG supports wants to play up far enough in the formation that they're dropping sentries or giving vision for this Dusa. He just runs in, balls to the wall, says, what's up, starts the fight. I mean, how many games do we see Silver Edge Medusa initiating for his team? There's a double
Soulbind on the lane. 2 carries.
The dream.
This looks so good if only there was any heroes to follow it up. Oh, what a powerful fissure. Controlling up 2. The RP now comes in once again. The control on the 2 carries. They get off the double readers, but he got off a Sunder on Yuragi. He turns around. He to finish up Fissure. Oh, Seb, he's going to die inside of the arena up against Jim Park, who is still going to work on these heroes. That is a dieback. These heroes are dead with no buyback on the side of OG. DM has got to somehow be able to salvage this situation because they don't have BZM to be able to fight. If Beast Coast goes to the high ground, He's going to try and drag him away, create some time, maybe even get the kill on the Mars. Oh, Mago, careful there. Oh, he takes out. He does end up dying. So DM does his job.
What a nasty set of arenas there. You got all your Venos spells off as well. I mean, Stinger destroyed that engagement. You look at these damage numbers. Sure, it's Parker in front, but who's second here for Beast Coast, man? It's Stinger with 5,500 on this Venomancer. Getting multiple Gales off, getting those procs, getting his spells out early, and shredding Yuragi on this Terrorblade. Every RP has been multiple heroes this entire game for Sacred. It is ridiculous what he's getting. OG have no way to find the mag in these fights, and it continues to punish them. And like you said, no buybacks here. That's just racks.
I mean, how many racks? Because the Terrorblade may have buyback, but he doesn't have meta. And again, without the Morphling, without the Earthshaker, can you actually even take a fight, even if you had meta?
No. And I mean, I thought OG's late game was going to be insane, but they just can't. They don't have answers for how these fights are going. They can't start them well enough on their terms. The vision is causing problems. These portraits, these wards, the RPs.
I love it.
Dusa has looked really damn spooky in this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's just Parker, but he has come to play 16-1. They cannot answer him in the fight.
Snakes bouncing all around.
Now you got a stolen Morphling Dusa illusion. 2 Dusas for the price of 1.
Park. I mean, the Ag Interceptor that he ate was a great idea because the Soulbind too as well, right? That actually becomes a really debilitating stun if it's not just 1 snake, but 2.
Yeah, you get snaked and frozen by 1, then the other one comes through.
Yeah.
Freezes you again. Like, PCM, he got stunned by those. This Morphling has to live. I don't think the Terrorblade is able to really deal damage in these fights, especially with his build. His build is not some crazy, just pure damage like Agi Blink Butterfly build. It's kind of a pseudo-tanky, pseudo-frontline build. This game is on BCM right now. He needs to get spells off, he needs to get BKB off, and be able to hit the Medusa at some point in these fights, which means you got to deal with arenas, you got to deal with RP. So you got to take that around your egg. These eggs, incredibly important for OG. Again, they don't have a lot to protect it, but you just need good positioning.
This could be dangerous.
Dire Roshan again.
They have a lot of vision. See that? So we just saw the ward that was placed by Taiga. They're near the pit, but they've even got one behind the pit to be able to see what you've been pointing out, which is the all-important Sacred.
This OBS. OG have to take the fight on this ward.
Yep. They
grab us up.
They're going to grab that Venomancer who did so much damage last fight. He's not dying quickly, but Stinger, he gets off a couple of spells before he finally falls. Mago tried to get his initiation. BCM forced to use the BKB and run away.
They got a lot out of Beast Coast right there. Veno gone, no buyback on him. They have a 5v4 right now. All they used was Lasso, and this is Octarine Bat. Lasso's up again in 15 seconds here. What stops you from doing it again? You still have that ward. Where was the detection for Beast Coast? It was on Sacred. He was not there. This is a game-winning Observer right now for OG. You need to keep playing around it. You need to force the pressure and get the fight. Your meta's running out. You have 15 seconds. DM, he's looking.
I can't believe it. They're actually going into the Roshan pit right now from the side. Schofield, he's going to be targeted here. Aeon Disc, BCM, he's going to go for it. They know these supports are a problem. They can't finish him off, though, because of the Aeon Disc, and now they got to be able to get away with the spear. It controls them up. RP attempted, does manage to get it in the end, and that's enough to finish off the Morphling. Chain stunned him enough, and now they run down the rest of the heroes. BCM trying to get away with his BKB will fly into the skies, then over the river. He's good. The supports, they don't have that same kind of escape. Well, the Phoenix does. The Earthshaker trying to blink away. Meanwhile, Terrorblade, they've been ignoring Yuragi throughout this entire fight, and it's a melee form. Terrorblade, he looks to get Schofield and does manage to get him.
Oh, Seb, you monster. Finds Schofield on the back. Trying to make Slane happen this engagement. Yuragi's going to man up. Does have a Thunder here. It's free.
Going for it in melee form. Supernova going off. They have to have Talbers to be able to stop it. Yeah, they got him. They read the situation correctly, which was that Beast Coast was chasing after Seb. Seb created the distraction for them to finally finish up the Dusa, and even on his dying breath, he'll get off more spells, allowing his team to be able to follow through. Now they've caught maybe Sacred. He's going to be able to skewer away. He's taking out slowly, though. Oh, gotta be careful though. The Grimstroke is back into play. Soulblind on it too. They have the Inkswell. It's gonna go off. Good damage. Not enough to finish off the bat. Right, the spear will finally get him. Yuragi, Sunder up in 8 seconds. He needs to be able to disengage from this one. Magic damage and all. The illusion. It's coming for you, Yuragi. He is done.
You can pause, but you cannot pause from death, my friend.
Oh no.
Your fate is sealed. Absolutely. Yeah, he knows it too. Oh, what an unlucky tech issue from OG. Either way, I think he was dead no matter what here, right?
Yeah.
It's just going to be a question of what happens after this. Does he have buyback? He does. OG committing all their core buybacks for this fight. They want the Roshan, and of course, Parker, he's 600 off his. There is no second Dusa coming into this engagement. This is an OG-1 fight if they get back here.
Oh, wait, no. He's getting away!
Wait,
he
what?
used the disperser for the extra movement speed, but the illusion is faster as soon as it goes down, so it finally does manage to get to him. Seb with his second life. He's trying to stop these heroes of Beast Coast from getting away, and he'll be able to put down Sacred. Stinger's going to be caught up in it too. They're going to use their buybacks, but they will not have to do some buyback. Without their big carry, they're still going to try and fight through this one. But Mago, he's in too deep, and now he's just going to be demolished by BCM. Now it goes from all of a sudden a dieback like that. It goes from giving up Roshan to maybe giving up so much more.
You're fighting without Deuces. This is absolutely insane.
Another Soulbind to help Sacred try and get away.
He has to lasso it. It's too strong.
It is too strong. It is killing him, right? BDM, he can't get away. Oh! They're actually doing it with the Dark Portrait of sorts. Schofield will finally finish it up. Okay, no more Dark Portrait.
Buyback for Seb.
That's enough of that. Stinger trying to disappear.
How did this backfire so hard? They won the fight without the Morphling, then lost it when the Dusa was dead?
It's Sacred. What? Where are you going?
Where is anybody going at this point? You're just waiting for Dusa to crawl back to the pit. He's going to TP to Outpost. BZM is in trouble. He has no TP. 5 seconds.
He's going to blink forward, trying to get him with a Stone Gaze. RP into the Stone Gaze. BZM is dead. Sacred kited him out long enough to kill the good old Morphling. They can actually just end the game. No need to Roshan.
It was all about Roche, but in the end, Roche won't matter. I cannot believe Disperser saved him here only to die to himself. There is only one Terrorblade. It is the Alpha. It is the Omega. It is the Portrait. You cannot fight it. You cannot run. Yuragi, the only one with buyback here, does have 2 lives, but can he do anything with them? That's a big question. Taiga up as well. You do have an egg. He has buyback too, actually, so technically 4 heroes up for OG.
Yeah, but is that Phoenix really a hero without the Supernova? Kind of doubt it.
Are Beast Coast really going to respect this? There's no way. They're going through him here.
Absolutely not.
You have to commit egg. You have to commit Demon Zeal to protect it, I guess.
Okay, the meta goes out. Skewer back onto the Phoenix, which is kind of what Taiga wants here. He wants to be a distraction. Yuragi needs the health, though. He needs to be able to get off the Sunder, and he'll get it off on Taiga. Taiga should eventually die here. No, actually activates the Supernova, but they're on the edges of it, and they're just going to focus on the throne now. Yuragi back into play. Now that he's healed back up again, but he won't have the Sunder to save himself again. He just gets demolished by the Dusa every single time he steps up to her. They go for a 3rd attempt, desperately trying to hold on to their throne, but it's not going to be good enough. Another buyback. Now the Earthshaker's back into play. They use the arena. They have to finish up this throne now. Deuce's out of mana. Deuce is going to die, but the throne dies first. Oh, big